Let me speak clearly to every soul listening right now. This world does not reward the loudest voice. It rewards the strongest foundation. And your foundation is not built on what you wear, how you speak, or who you impress. It is built on your character. And if your character is weak, I don't care how rich, how educated, how talented you are, you will collapse when the pressure comes. We are living in a generation where people want power, but run from discipline. They want respect, but refuse responsibility. They want to be leaders, but lack integrity. What kind of future can be built on such sand? I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to speak soft words to please your comfort. I came to awaken the fighter inside you, the part of you that knows you're not living at your full standard. The part of you that's tired of being soft in a world that demands strength. The part of you that's been broken but refuses to stay broken. Because if you don't build character now, life will break you later, and the world will not apologize. It will step over you and move on. Dig you? Listen to every word I say in this speech like your future depends on it. Because it does. If you have ears, if you have breath, rise. And if you have pain, use it. This is how you build a strong character. You think strength is in muscles? You think power is in noise? No. The strength I speak of is not the kind that flexes in front of mirrors or shows off in crowds. The strength I speak of is quiet, brutal, and consistent. It is the strength to say no to yourself when every part of you is screaming yes. It is the kind of strength that holds the line in private when no one is watching. And temptation whispers are just this once. That is the beginning of discipline. That is where character is born. You can't build anything great without discipline. Not a career, not a legacy, not a family, and certainly not a strong character. Because without discipline, everything collapses the moment life stops being easy. When things get tough, the undisciplined crumble. But the disciplined, those who have trained themselves in silence, those who have mastered their cravings, those who have made consistency a lifestyle, they keep standing. And in that standing, they rise. Every great man you admire, every woman who has walked in purpose and changed the course of nations, was built on the foundation of discipline. Not just a moment of inspiration, not just one lucky break, but years of unseen sacrifice, saying no to distractions, waking up early when others sleep, studying when others party, training when others relax, speaking truth when it costs everything. That is the secret they don't teach you in motivational quotes. That is the law you must follow if you want to build a character that can't be broken by storms. But people don't want to hear this. They want shortcuts. They want hacks. They want the rewards of strength without the pain of development. And this is why they remain weak. You see, when you live without discipline, your life becomes a slave to impulses. You eat because you feel like it. You quit because it gets hard. You speak because you're angry. You spend because you're bored. You chase people to feel needed. And then you wonder why your life feels hollow and directionless. You handed the steering wheel of your destiny to emotion, and emotion is a reckless driver. Discipline is not natural. It must be trained. Every day you wake up, you are given a battlefield, and the first enemy you face is not out there. It is within. Your laziness, your doubt, your comfort, your excuses. These are the forces that seek to sabotage your greatness. And if you do not rise with a warrior's mindset and beat them into submission, they will rule over you. Not just today, but for a lifetime. When I say discipline is the foundation, I mean it is the first wall you must build if you want to construct a life of honor. Because everything else rests on it. Talent, useless without discipline. Vision, worthless without discipline. Even faith dies without the daily decision to walk it out with discipline. Do you know how many men have lost their thrones because they couldn't control their appetite? How many kings fell to lust? How many leaders destroyed everything because they lacked the discipline to silence their ego? A moment of pleasure, a moment of pride, a moment of anger. Without discipline, that's all it takes to destroy everything you spent years building. Don't be fooled by people who look powerful but live without discipline. They are ticking time bombs. Their collapse is coming. The man who cannot master himself will eventually be mastered by his weakness. But the man who walks with discipline becomes a fortress. He is not swayed by opinions. He is not derailed by setbacks. He is not seduced by instant gratification. His power is in his control. His influence is in his ability to remain consistent even when no one claps for him. That is strength. And let me tell you something most won't. Discipline is painful. It is not fun. It is lonely. It will make people call you extreme. It will cost you sleep, friends, opportunities, even comfort. But it will also give you what nothing else can. Self-respect, confidence, clarity, power. And most importantly, it will give you freedom. The freedom to live a life that is not manipulated by every desire or defeated by every challenge. Because the truth is this: if you don't train your mind, the world will. And what the world teaches is weakness. It teaches indulgence. It teaches compromise. It teaches you to follow your feelings. But discipline teaches you to lead your feelings. Discipline teaches you to command your body, to govern your thoughts, to direct your actions. You become your own commander. You walk with purpose, not permission. So I ask you now, who are you when no one is watching? What decisions do you make when comfort and pressure collide? That answer tells me everything I need to know about the strength of your character. Because when it's all said and done, people may forget your name, but they will never forget the weight of your presence. And that weight comes from discipline. That's the ground your greatness must grow from. Too many people are busy trying to look like something they've never become. They fight for image, not identity. They care more about applause than alignment. They build reputations like castles, but their integrity is made of sand. And then, when the storm comes, and it always comes, it exposes the truth they've been hiding behind filters, lies, and masks. You see, reputation is what they think you are. Integrity is who you really are. And if the two don't match, your life will crumble under the weight of your own pretending. A strong character cannot exist without integrity. And integrity is not something you post about. It's not what you tell people. It's what you choose when no one else is around to witness it. It's the decision you make when you know you could get away with the wrong one. And still, you choose the right one, because the battle is not about being caught by others. The battle is about not betraying yourself. The most dangerous thing about a lack of integrity is that it doesn't destroy you instantly. It eats you slowly. A lie here. A compromise there. A deal made in silence just once. A broken promise brushed under the rug. And at first, nothing seems to change. You still smile. You still function. But something begins to rot on the inside. You lose peace. You lose clarity. You stop recognizing the person in the mirror. And the worst part is that the world keeps clapping for you, not knowing you're dying in private. Because they're clapping for your reputation, not your reality. But you cannot outrun your truth forever. Sooner or later, it catches up to you. And when it does, no public perception will save you from private destruction. This is why integrity matters more than anything they say about you. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them form their opinions. But while they talk, you walk. You walk in truth. You walk in discipline. You walk in loyalty to the person you know you were born to be. This world will tempt you to trade your integrity for a quick rise. It will tell you that just cheat a little, no one will know. Everyone's doing it. But remember this: what you gain without integrity, you will lose without warning. Every door you force open through deception becomes a trap disguised as success. And when it closes, it doesn't just lock you out. It exposes what you really are. You must decide today who you serve, crowd or your conscience, because the two are not always aligned. Yeah, sometimes doing what is right will make you unpopular. Sometimes telling the truth will cost you opportunities. Sometimes standing for your principles will make you look like a fool in a world that rewards corruption. But a man of integrity doesn't bend for comfort. He bows only to truth. Even if he stands alone, he stands unshaken. Integrity will make you lose fake friends, but it will attract real ones. It will close some doors, but it will open the right ones. It will keep you awake at night sometimes, wrestling with hard choices, but it will let you sleep in peace when the decision is made. Because there is nothing more powerful than knowing that your soul is not for sale. Some of you have been trained to protect your image so much, you don't even know how to protect your character anymore. You lie to defend your mistakes. You hide your weaknesses behind pride. You perform instead of transform. But let me tell you something real. The people you're trying to impress don't even care about your soul. They love what you give them, not who you are. So why are you sacrificing the eternal for the temporary? When you build your life on integrity, you don't have to remember your lies. You don't have to act for the camera. You don't have to fake strength you don't have. You live light, clean, honest, And that gives you a kind of freedom that money can't buy and fame can't offer. It's the kind of freedom that gives your voice power, your decisions weight, and your presence meaning. Integrity is not perfection. It's not about never falling. It's about being honest when you do. It's about taking responsibility, making it right, and staying aligned with your values, no matter the cost. It's about being the same person in the dark that you are in the light. And in a world full of actors, that makes you rare. That makes you dangerous. That makes you trustworthy. Because when the time comes to lead, to fight, to speak, or to stand, people won't follow your reputation. They'll follow your integrity. Because they'll know that behind every word you speak is a truth you live, and that kind of man, that kind of woman, cannot be moved, not by pressure, not by praise, not by fear. Only truth can carry that kind of weight, and integrity is the only foundation strong enough to hold it. Everyone wants to be called strong, until life gives them the test to prove it. It's easy to say you're unshakable when the ground beneath you hasn't moved. It's easy to claim you have faith when nothing is being taken from you. But strength is not revealed in the sunshine. It is revealed in the storm. It is revealed in loss, betrayal, silence, pressure, failure. That's when the mask falls off. That's when the image gets stripped away. That's when your character, not your comfort, becomes your voice. Some of you are in the middle of trials right now, and you think it's punishment. But listen to me carefully. Your struggle is not proof that you're weak. It is the opportunity to reveal that you're stronger than you thought. No. Pain is the stage where discipline and integrity meet and character is born. Pressure does not break real ones. It exposes the ones who are pretending. If your identity can't survive a storm, it was never grounded in truth. We have been conditioned to avoid discomfort, to seek escape the moment resistance shows up. But anything worth building requires pressure. A diamond is just coal until it survives the weight. Steel is just metal until it survives the fire. And yet, you're just potential until you've walked through the valley and refused to bow. That's where character rises. That's where your true name is written. Don't despise the battle. The trial is a mirror. It shows you whether your discipline is real or just theory, whether your integrity is rooted or just appearance. Anyone can talk like a lion until the hunter shows up. But when you're in the storm and everything you trusted is shaking, your faith, your confidence, your plans, and yet you refuse to quit, refuse to become bitter, refuse to lower your standards, that's when you start to become something unbreakable. Not because the pain disappeared, but because you didn't. People will leave you when the storm hits. Opportunities will dry up. You'll face things that make your chest tight at night and your vision blur in the morning. And in those moments, your character is all you've got. You'll find out if your strength came from shallow motivation or from something deeper, something that can't be bought, sold, or shaken. You must train yourself not to run when the fire comes. Learn to breathe in the furnace. Learn to keep walking with wounded feet. Learn to speak life when your own hope is drying up. That is where leaders are forged. Not in the lights, not in the applause, in the silence of suffering, in the discipline of staying faithful, in the courage to remain whole when you feel broken. Stop asking why the trial came. Start asking what the trial is trying to make out of you. Because the most dangerous version of you will not be the one who has never bled. It'll be the one who bled and kept going. Who lost and kept fighting? Who was betrayed and didn't become bitter? That version of you is untouchable. So, because it's not pride that carries you, it's purpose. It's not ego that sustains you, it's conviction. You've got to be dangerous in your endurance, relentless in your patience, steady in your pain. Because trials don't just test your limits, they expand them. What you survive today prepares you for what you will lead tomorrow. You don't even realize it, but your ability to carry pain with dignity is already building doors for future power. People see the result. They don't see the night you couldn't sleep, the tears no one comforted, the hunger you hid, the hunger you hid. The failures you turned into fuel, but you will know. You will carry that power in your silence, and it will be heard louder than 1,000 voices. Stop thinking you're behind because things got hard. You are exactly where transformation happens. Do not negotiate with the storm. Do not beg for comfort when your crown is being formed in the chaos. Stand. Even if your legs shake, even if your hands tremble, even if your voice breaks. Stand, because you are not weak. You are in the fire, and the fire is not here to destroy you. It's here to reveal what cannot be burned. The ones who endure are not the ones who feel nothing. They feel everything. but they keep going. And that is strength. That is character. That is the difference between those who collapse and those who become legends. You're not being punished, you're being proven. You cannot talk about character without talking about responsibility. Because no matter how much discipline you have, no matter how much integrity you carry, and no matter how well you endure pain, if you refuse to take responsibility, your strength will remain locked inside of you. Responsibility is the final test. It is the weight that only the strong are trusted to carry. And make no mistake, that weight is heavy. That weight doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for perfect timing. It doesn't ask for your comfort. It demands your maturity. We live in a time where people run from responsibility like it's a curse. They want the crown, but not the cross. They want the stage, but not the sacrifice. They want the reward, but not the accountability. But if you truly want to build a character that commands respect, not just attention, then you must stop blaming the world, stop pointing at others, and start owning your life. Every decision, every failure, every consequence. The moment you say, "It's on me," is the moment you become dangerous. Because now, no one can stop you but you. You see, weak people run from responsibility because it exposes their inconsistency. It exposes their lack of preparation. It exposes their fear. But strong people embrace responsibility because they understand something deeper. It is only through responsibility that you rise into leadership. It's only through ownership that you develop mastery over your own life. If you can't be trusted with responsibility, you can't be trusted with power. And without power, you are just reacting to life instead of shaping it. Responsibility does not always come with applause. In fact, most of the time, it comes with criticism, pressure, and thankless nights. When you take responsibility, you take the blame for things that weren't even your fault, because you care more about solutions than ego. When you take responsibility, you do the hard thing even when no one notices, because your loyalty is to purpose, not praise. When you take responsibility, you don't ask, "Oh, why me?" You say, "If not me, then who?" And that's the mindset of warriors, not victims. The truth is, people will try to avoid responsibility their whole lives and wonder why nothing ever changes. They complain, they compare, they cry out for help, but they never grow. Because growth only happens when you step into the fire and say, "I will carry this. I will face this. I will fix this." Responsibility forces you to rise. It strips away your excuses. It breaks the illusion of helplessness. It says, "This life is mine, and no one is coming to save me." And let me tell you something that most won't admit. When you start taking responsibility, your circle will shrink. Because the moment you stop blaming and start building, you separate yourself from the masses. The average mindset cannot understand a person who says, "I'll find a way," because they've been trained to wait for permission. But strong character doesn't wait. Strong character acts. Strong character doesn't make excuses. It makes decisions. You want to change your family? Take responsibility for the energy you bring into that home. You want to build something powerful? Take responsibility for the habits you repeat when no one's watching. You want to be respected? Take responsibility for your words, your actions, your mistakes, and your reactions. Not because it's easy, but because it's the only path to greatness. Some of you are carrying weights that weren't even yours to carry. You inherited pain. You were born into chaos. You were raised in environments that tried to kill your fire before you ever learned how to speak. But hear me clearly. Your trauma may not be your fault, but your healing is still your responsibility. Your past may explain you, but it does not define you. And every day you wake up and choose to take ownership of your future, you are building a character this world cannot control. The world doesn't need more people who talk big and act small. It needs men and women who show up, stand tall, and carry what must be carried. Not because someone told them to, but because they've decided, deep in their soul, that this life will not be wasted, that their presence will mean something, that their story will not end in excuses. When you walk with responsibility, you move different. You speak with weight. You lead with clarity. You become the kind of person that others rely on, not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. You become the anchor in storms. You become the answer when others only see problems. You become a reflection of what character truly looks like, not in what you say, but in what you carry without complaint. And that is why only the strong are trusted with responsibility. Because they don't just talk about what they could do, They rise and do it.